I would say first and foremost, if they're in a position of leadership, the organisation that they work for or the church that they work for ought to have in place proper structures of accountability. Leadership ought to perhaps be plural, so generally leaders ought to be working with others anyway, and that provides some measure of accountability. But in most structures for organisations, there is some authority to whom the leader is accountable. So for example, in an organisation, that might be to the board that oversees the organisation. In the church, it might be to a denominational body, or alternatively, it might be to the congregation members. So there ought to be some formal structure of accountability. And I would be concerned if a ministry or a church doesn't have some kind of formal accountability structure built in. For all Christian leaders, they ought to be members of local churches where they are under the discipline of the local church, so that they are attending regularly, they're hearing God's word taught. If they were to stray from the truth in their behaviour or their doctrine, they would be subject to proper church discipline. So the church itself is a body that ought to provide accountability to all of its members and to the leaders who are members of the local church. And then I think it's a question of finding individuals who can act as mentors, coaches, accountability partners. So that may be a combination of peers in ministry. It may be looking for some more senior individuals who can act as an accountability partner. So I think those are the places where leaders can look to find accountability. And for most leaders, they will seek to find accountability in multiple places. It's also worth saying, I think for leaders who are married, obviously their spouses are often a very significant accountability partner, and they need to very much listen to and take the advice of their spouses, who might be able to see what's happening in their life and what's happening in their ministry.